Hi everybody and welcome to Reed's Spider-Man Crawl Space Edition. I'm your host Ryan Reed. Please check us out at the SpidermanCrawlspace.com. Well everybody, I am back here to review Amazing Spider-Man 43 here, the second part of the Boomerang Lifeline storyline here with our wonderful story mirror, better known as the Secret Origin of Gog, but we're afraid to ask. So I only got the digital version, so I'll be able to review this without too many problems here. So let's get right into the pros. First of all, I have to say, I actually remember the original Gog story. It was actually one that was held on by my uncle. I had read it years and years ago, back when Gwen Stacy was still alive, is when the original story was. And that was actually the first time I ever thought of Kraven the Hunter until years later during the return of the, I should say, the Revenge of the Sinister Six, when Eric Larson brought the character back for the use of the Dr. Octopus's new Sinister Six. I never really thought much of the character. He was an interesting kind of monster of the Marvel comics. I always liked the different monsters, from the Fin Fang Boom to, of course, Gladius and a couple other ones. So it's a really nice origin story. I mean, after the Given story in Hunted that Nick Spencer gave us, really just gets down to who Gog is in such a limited story context, but he really kind of gives the secret origin of Gog, where he was really just meant to be a simple guardian for the prince of this world, and then basically how war felt upon it, how he got separated, how he basically was turned into a weapon despite everything, and then how he actually hated Spider-Man because in his first encounter he was kind of left to die, and then later on he was just kind of used as a revenge tool, which of course, you know, Spider-Man and Reed Richards then sent him back home. But I really like that Spencer really gets into what happened afterwards. He really brings all the storylines together here of exactly not only Gog returning home, but actually how the Lifeline tablet ended back up on this world and how it brought more war and destruction. And I have to say, I felt for Gog when this story was all over, and basically them separating the Lifeline pieces and then going back to Earth with him as a guardian. But that kind of leads to our cons here. Why this brings all the story elements together. I didn't really need the huge history of Gog here. I mean, it definitely is a wonderful moving story, but I kind of feel like we got the part of this story that's been building for 2 years now. It's kind of like, now let's give you that interlude, exactly how the Lifeline tablets ended up everywhere. And then it's kind of, you know, here's the origin of Gog that was never really told, and it kind of detracts a little bit of the storyline. We don't really get to see Spider-Man and Boomerang trying to get the pieces from him, and it just kind of just throws, like, here's that interlude piece to try to bring the storyline together, exactly how it happened, but now it's kind of, here's an origin story that you didn't really know, and now here's where the story is afterwards. So it's an entire issue that is dedicated to the character and how the Lifeline tablet got back to Earth, but at the same time it kind of gets detracted from the story, though Ryan Ottley does a fantastic job with this book, because this is mostly art with little dialogue, something he excelled at back when he was artist of Invincible. And I mean, Ottley just knocks it out of the park with the artwork and everything. It just works great for alien worlds and characters, which he did on Invincible. It's really nice, but I feel like all of a sudden we're getting this big storyline now. Here's kind of like that interruption piece, and I think this could have been its own little separate mini series. But as we know, with everything coming up with Sins Remembered coming up this summer, it's gonna kind of no room for something like this. So I'm actually gonna give this story a B+. It's a wonderful interlude. I actually, you know, did feel so sorry for Gog. It is a very emotional story with little dialogue and great artwork, but at the same time I feel kind of stalled a little bit of the storyline with, you know, here's how this all got to here, and now let's move on to the next part, which could be a problem with our different quarantines and shelter in places, because like I said, this is a digital copy I was able to luckily get, but physical properties, and with DC, Marvel, and other comic book companies saying they're kind of halting physical copies due to the shutdowns for the coronavirus, who knows when we're going to see the conclusion of this storyline. So I will give it a B+. It's really an enjoyable story. If you're getting your books coming in through mail order or digital copies, this is definitely worth it. And on that note, everybody, I am going to get out of here. I will see everybody later, and hopefully I will return with more Spider-Man reviews. So I'll see you later on the Crawl Space.